When a UGA athletics intern was knocked unconscious at the Georgia-Auburn game this weekend, it drew attention from across the country. We'll tell you what people are saying. If your kids are begging to get a puppy for the holidays, Grady Newsource reporter Katie Anderson tells us about Barrows County's $10 adoption program. And what you need to know if you have a student in Jackson County schools. Grady Newsource reporter Peyton Lewis has more on a program that could better prepare your teen for college.
So you go into college more well-rounded, because if you go in and all you know is how to study and read books, well, that's not going to help you as much in the world.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening. I'm Jasmine Szilard, and this is Grady Newsource.
And I'm Marissa Hernandez with sports, where later in the show I'll be telling you what's going on in high school football and UGA athletics.
And I'm Skylar Nicholson with your weather. Coming up, we'll break down what to expect this week with higher temperatures.
Students at Jackson County Comprehensive High School are going to have an extra opportunity to succeed and reach their goals in college and beyond. Grady Newsource reporter Peyton Lewis is live to tell us more. Hey, Peyton.
I'm here in front of Jackson County Comprehensive High School, where a new type of learning is being introduced. Students will soon have the opportunity to participate in something called International Baccalaureate. I spoke with students and the new program coordinator earlier today about their aspirations for the program moving forward.
I just think it's more focused on preparing us for the future. I guess that could be more intense, but it's really helping us prepare, manage our stress and manage our time and how we manage things we have to do.
Michael Howard is one of the students at Jackson County Comprehensive High School taking part in a new program to further accelerate learning. In Georgia high schools, it's common for students to have three choices. They can take accelerated program or AP courses, participate in regular scheduling, or participate in dual enrollment, where you can go into college while still in high school. But students in Jackson County now have a fourth option with the addition of the International Baccalaureate Program, or IB. The IB program allows schools to give a more global perspective on education and encourage both personal and academic achievement. High school sophomore Mustafa Diallo is in what they call pre-IB classes and says he's already seeing a difference in the perspective of his learning.
And when you're in the IB, you can take a global outlook and truly get a better understanding of how people in France learn. You'll be learning similar to people in France, Sweden, and places all around the world. And to me, that really interested me because I don't want to be a typical person who doesn't really have a vast knowledge of how the world works.
The addition of this program has been in the works for 6 years now, according to Jackson County High School's IB program coordinator, Dr. Michelle Golden. Dr. Golden says she's looking forward to seeing this program in full swing.
Some of those philosophies that come along with IB we're adopting school-wide, and there will be ripples into every classroom in the school, which I think is another cool part of the program.
Student Michael Howard says the pre-IB courses he takes are allowing him to grow already.
I've noticed my writing skills have gotten better, and my time management and stress skills have also gotten better.
Student Riley Ruiz says she is looking forward to the classes she will take within the IB program and how they will prepare her for a career in pediatric neuroscience.
I think it'll be just a more in-depth kind of focus more than what we're doing already. So for example, I get to take the sports medicine class, which will be a glimpse into maybe one of the classes I'll take in college.
Students in Jackson County can apply for the program as early as their freshman year in high school and choose to complete the diploma if they wish. This program is set to start in 2020 at the beginning of the school year. Live in Jackson County for Grady Newsource, I'm Peyton Lewis.
Thanks, Peyton. And in other education news, a member of Clark County School District Board of Education announced her resignation on Friday. Dr. Frances Berry was appointed to the position back in January when Vernon Payne resigned due to illness. Fellow board member Dr. Patricia Yeager told Grady Newsource in an emailed statement, quote, "I was very sad to hear about her resignation. We needed her passion and focus. She brought some good energy to the board. I regret that Frances will be unable to be a part of the rebuilding process that we have started," end quote. Berry's resignation was effective immediately, and the board is looking for someone to finish her term, which ends December 2020. Black Friday is one of the biggest retail days of the year, and it's just around the corner. Grady Newsource reporter Julia Sanders shows us how store owners prepare for Black Friday in Athens.
The student population at the University of Georgia head home for Thanksgiving break, meaning most won't be in Athens on Black Friday. Ryder Chosewood, a store owner of Kemp, planned for the student population leaving for Thanksgiving break. He decided to have a Black Friday sales event early. He is moving it to November 22nd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. They are calling it Black Friday to the Future, and it will be 80s themes.
So basically, we know that the students at UGA are a big part of our customer base, and a lot of them go home for Thanksgiving. So we wanted to be able to do our sale before everyone leaves.
David Lynn, the planning director of the Athens Downtown Development Authority, said Georgia football plays a big role in sales in Athens.
The combination of the Thanksgiving week and the lack of a home game that weekend, the Georgia Tech game being in Atlanta this year, we don't predict a large impact on Black Friday for downtown.
Athens may have less shoppers on Black Friday. However, nationally, Black Friday remains one of the biggest retail shopping days in the year. There will be more than 165 million people who will shop over the Thanksgiving weekend, according to the National Retail Federation. But why do people go Black Friday shopping? 65% of people surveyed said they go Black Friday shopping because the sales are too good to pass up, according to the National Retail Federation. Other reasons are tradition to start their holiday shopping. It's a group activity with friends and family, and Black Friday is something to do over the holiday break.
The City of Monroe Police Department is offering a cash reward to anyone who can give information leading to the arrest of Donta Raji Robertson. After officers attempted to serve a warrant to Robertson, he fled on foot, firing a gunshot while being pursued by officers, according to Monroe Police. The 29-year-old suspect was last seen in the area of Spring Street after running behind apartments near his residence at Pine Ridge Villa. No officers or residents were injured during the chase, but Monroe PD cautioned against approaching Robertson if contact is made. He is considered armed and very dangerous. Robertson is wanted for aggravated assault against law enforcement and obstruction, as well as other charges from different agencies. Monroe Police encourage anyone with information to contact the department via phone or through their Facebook page. National political attention came to Georgia last year's midterm election, and this week it's back up. Coming up, we'll have more on the busy week.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Today kicks off a big week for politics in Atlanta. Presidential candidates have already started rolling in for the Democratic presidential debate at Tyler Perry Studios, and events will last all week long. This evening, Mayor Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana, will have a conversation with students at Morehouse University. Buttigieg is leading the polls right now in Iowa and has decided to make Atlanta another stop on his campaign trail. Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota hosted a roundtable earlier today at Hammond's House Museum, where she discussed democracy and voting rights. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont will also speak with Morehouse students on Thursday afternoon following the debate. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts will be at Clark Atlanta on Thursday as well. Other faces that will be in town this week are former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former President Barack Obama. It has not been confirmed if they will attend the debate, but they will be here in Georgia. We'll have more on the debate and other major political events throughout the week. And for politics right here in Athens, longtime activist Mocha Jasmine Johnson is challenging incumbent Houston Gaines for the District 117 House seat in the Georgia House. Grady Newsource reporter Ashlyn Webb caught up with the candidate and talked about her decision to run in 2020.
If you've ever read up on Athens politics, it's hard not to hear the name Mocha Jasmine Johnson. She's the founder of the Athens Anti-Discrimination Movement, a member of the Board of Elections, but most importantly, she says she's an activist.
I've always been an activist as far as individual and family-oriented wise.
But never thought of herself as an activist outside of that. That all changed in 2015.
Well, didn't know much about it, just was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and became very vocal and been very vocal since that time.
It all started with a drink at a downtown Athens bar. General Beauregard's, a Confederate-themed bar, named a drink after a racial slur.
My first big step into politics was dealing with basically a discrimination case.
That, she says, was her first step into the Athens political scene. Through this, Johnson says she found her voice carried weight in the community.
People began to come up to me and share their stories. People from different walks of life, white women, people, brown, black people, from the community saying, hey, I've been discriminated against. It wasn't just, black and brown people being discriminated against.
From there, she says she became dedicated to eliminating discrimination in Athens, from controversies like local bar dress codes discriminating minorities, the handling of human remains believed to be slaves that were exhumed from under Baldwin Hall at the University of Georgia, and the protection of Confederate monuments under state law.
Sometimes we have to hold them accountable. Sometimes there needs to be check and balances.
But activism on the local level can only go so far, she says.
Being an activist on one level, on a local level, is one thing. And you go to the mayor and commission, you ask them to change certain things, and they'll say, well, it's a state law, or it's coming down from states. But really drew my attention to say, wait a minute, I'm going to be doing this forever.
Johnson said she questioned if there was a better way to make a difference. Now she's taking her activism a step further by exploring a run for State House in 2020. Johnson says the 2019 legislative session was the last straw. She watches bills like the Heartbeat Bill and laws protecting Confederate monuments pass through the majority Republican body.
Maybe it's time for me to look deeper and see what I can do, because this is going to keep on happening. Next year, some of the things that didn't pass can come right back on the table. You know what I mean? And I realize we have to really pay attention.
Johnson says most importantly, she wants to represent the district as a whole.
I'm willing to work across the board in order for the people, in the sense, to be taken care of, and that's what comes first to me.
There are people that need to have a voice and need to be listened to and represented, and I feel like that's what Mocha is going to do.
In Athens, Clark County, Ashlyn Webb, Grady Newsource.
I'm Marissa Hernandez with sports, where later you can join me to learn more about sideline safety.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
And now, sports.
The Deep South's oldest rivalry game was this weekend. The Georgia Bulldogs faced the Auburn Tigers in the Jordan-Hare Stadium. While the first 3 quarters of the game were all in Georgia's favor, the Tigers fought back in the 4th quarter, scoring 14 points. The Georgia defense was able to hold them, and the game resulted in a 21-14 win for Georgia. Viewers were on the edge throughout the game, but particularly so right at halftime when an interning photographer in the Georgia Athletic Department was knocked unconscious after a sideline collision. The accident has brought light to sideline safety among photographers and reporters. Ashlyn Webb joins us in the studio with more.
Yeah, Marissa, this is a conversation the sports media industry has been discussing for years. I actually spoke to veteran sports photographers and reporters about tips to staying safe on the sidelines. The first is pay attention to your peripheral vision. Always watch your surroundings and watch the ball and be in tune. Marvin James, a sports reporter for 13 WMAZ in Macon, says these days part of the media's job is photography and the other could be being on our phones, tweeting, taking notes, which can be a distraction on the field. So make sure not to distract yourself. The second is always have an exit plan. Be ready to get up and run. In the case where Chamberlain Smith, the UGA photographer, was hit, she did what she was trained to do, according to Mark Johnson, a photography professor in Grady College. Chamberlain had one knee down and one foot down so she could be ready to get up and run if a play came at her.
And that WMAZ sports reporter you spoke to was right next to Chamberlain when she was hit?
Yeah, that's right. He told me they were discussing sideline safety after a close call 2 plays before she was hit. Running back Demetrius Robertson caught a pass right in front of them. Marvin James told me both were discussing how it was such a close call. 2 plays later, Smith was knocked unconscious.
Okay, and do we currently have an update on her condition?
Yeah, Smith actually gave an update on Facebook saying she was able to walk away with a concussion and some bruises, and she's ready to be on the sideline soon. But still, Marissa, this is a long road ahead for recovery.
Thank you, Ashlyn. The Georgia women's volleyball team won in Mississippi this past weekend. The team swept both Ole Miss and Mississippi State. The team won all 3 sets in their game at Ole Miss. Freshman outside hitter Casey Evans had 14 kills and 10 digs, as well as 1 assist, while senior setter Megan Donovan had 32 assists to help secure the victory. The team also dominated at Mississippi State. Evans had 19 kills and Donovan had 41 assists. These wins have pushed the volleyball team record to 18-7 and 10-4 in the SEC Conference. You can catch Georgia volleyball this Friday at 7 p.m. against South Carolina. The state playoffs have begun for high school football teams across Georgia. Local teams are in several classes for state playoffs, which are organized based on student population by the Georgia High School Association. In the Class 3A bracket, the Jefferson Dragons defeated Sonoraville High School and will play Appling County this upcoming Friday. In the Class 4A bracket, the Madison County Red Raiders had a historic win against the Ridgeland High School Panthers, winning 27-20 for their first ever state playoff game victory. The Oconee County Warriors defeated North Whitfield, and the Titans from North Oconee defeated the Pickens Dragons as well. In the Class 5A bracket, Cedar Shoals and Clark Central High School won their games. The Cedar Shoals Jaguars will be facing off against the Jones County Greyhounds, and the Clark Central Gladiators will play Wayne County Yellow Jackets this Friday. Again, I'm Marissa Hernandez, and this has been your sports for the day.
I'm Skylar Nicholson, and I have all your weather updates for the start of your day. Stay with us and get prepped with everything you need to know to enjoy the warmer temperatures we're having this week.
Hello. Hi. I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you, and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Ah, Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, you know, they're the end pieces of the zucchini, and they're the cores that we cut away, not to mention zucchini flower. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that, oh.
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta, a different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit SaveTheFood.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Laughing too hard at one of your colleagues' jokes at the office party? He's not even funny. Warning sign, those drinks are probably going to your head. Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And now, the weather.
I'm Skylar Nicholson with your weather update. Let's get you caught up with what's going on today, tomorrow, and the rest of the week so you're fully prepared. We're going to talk about your upcoming forecast, your 5-day forecast, and what's going on with daylight savings time. So today, your high is 63 degrees, partly sunny with a 0% chance of rain. You're going to have 5-mile-per-hour winds, but pretty overall a great day, pretty pleasant outside. Tonight, 6 p.m., 56 degrees, 9 p.m., 50, and midnight, 46. So pretty moderate, not too much going on. Tomorrow, your high is 61. 10% chance of rain, something to keep on the radar, 5-mile-per-hour winds. Let's check out what's going on around the state. So up in Chattanooga here, you are at 37 degrees, 39 in Atlanta, 42 in Augusta, and 40 in Athens. Let's take a look at what's going on in your weekday forecast. We already talked about today, Monday at 63 degrees being your high, 61 tomorrow, 66 on Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday you'll be at 68. In the evenings, your mid to low moderate 40s, that's about it. Nothing too exciting going on, but pretty higher temperatures. That's it for your weather. I'm Skylar Nicholson.
After the break, Grady Newsource reporter Katie Anderson has information if you're looking to add a furry friend to the family.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Barrow County Animal Control is working to make sure that both families and pets in need have a happy holidays. Grady Newsource reporter Katie Anderson shows us how.
This holiday season, Barrow County Animal Control is partnering up with Barrow County Family Connection to offer $10 adoption fees for all pets with the donation of a toy for a family in need.
He's part of a feral colony, but he has no teeth.
That's Animal Control Director Jacqueline Fryman. She says the shelter works with potential owners to find the right fit for them, taking in their lifestyle, other animals in the household, and family size into consideration. There is no required amount spent in exchange for the discounted adoption fee, and all donations are welcomed and appreciated. If you aren't in a position to adopt a pet, you can still help out. Animal Control is always in need of canned cat and dog food, blankets, and shelter volunteers. Barrow County Family Connection is accepting toy donations at their office in the Wimberley Center for Community Development and 3 other locations in the community. Ben McDaniel, Executive Director of Family Connection, stated that partnerships like this show the real strength of the community.
Another example of it between it's collaboration between Animal Control and Family Connection, where we can hopefully get some animals adopted out and provide for our community on the other side of it.
Katie Anderson, Grady Newsource.
And if you are planning to get a pet this holiday season or already have one, keep them out of the vet's office with these tips. Keep the turkey on the table and try not to drop fatty foods on the floor. They could cause pancreatitis. Barrow County Animal Control says to avoid giving your pet cooked bones because they may splinter and could be logged in your pet's throat. Some dogs may experience acute kidney failure if they eat grapes and raisins. Avocados, macadamia nuts, garlic, and apples could also cause complications. Holiday decorations could also be hazardous to your pet. Christmas tree tinsels can be ingested by your cat and cause an obstruction. Plants like poinsettias and lilies may also cause an upset stomach. That's all for tonight, but the news does not stop here. Make sure to check out our website at GradyNewsource.com and stay connected with us on social media.
I'm Marissa Hernandez.
And I'm Skylar Nicholson.
And I'm Jasmine Solar. Thanks for joining us. That was the lady, she was like talking to her, like camera two, camera two.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
This
This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique.
It's here. We had a really good show today. Everything was dropped on time. The show went flawlessly. And your director today, Zach, it was his first time ever directing a show. So, yeah, you did really good. You can talk about it if you want.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate everyone getting their packages in on time. I really appreciate that. Everything from our end ran really smoothly. Jasmine did great on camera. All in all, just a really good show that I felt really comfortable with. And thank you, Will, for helping out. I know it was my first time directing. I think it went smoothly for the most part, but thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Good job. I don't really have, like, anything specific today. Like, it was a pretty easy day, so good job to everybody. You want to talk? Okay, here we go.
Hey. I need to issue a correction from this morning because I was struggling with this Newsource analytics tracker, and I gave y'all some incorrect information. So I just figured it's the best way everybody's going to hear it. As for Facebook, we had a lot more engagement. 6 engagement, gained a follower, and feeding Barrow was the top thing on Facebook. It was actually also on Twitter and Instagram was different as well. The officer-involved shooting did particularly well on Twitter, and the Scorpio, the surface dog, did really well on Instagram. And then on the website, the top stories were actually the Madison County Farmer, Community Water Fluoridation, and the House of Mouse story. And the bounce rate was a little lower, 76%, and the website had a lot more engagement on it, or page views, 1,232, not 200. So that was my bad, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, everybody was aware. We did not do that bad.
Making sure the time is like perfect was a big thing. I know Will was amazing to point out that we skipped over a commercial. We skipped over a commercial, and that was it was the same thing that happened when Skylar produced, is it just wasn't in the rundown that we duplicated and put into Monday's show. So that definitely threw us off, but we were able to recover. And just keeping an eye on the time during the show as we went. We were about 10 seconds heavy, I think, by the time we ended, but pretty spot on. So I really, really appreciate production and Jasmine and everybody keeping up with all the changes. I know that was a lot to keep track of, and I really, really appreciate that. But yeah, I think overall it went really well. You guys were incredible and really did work with me. Skylar, I'm glad we were able to give you your 1-minute weather that you wanted so badly. But yeah.
Yeah, basically communication. Yeah.
Just kept reading. And then like after that mess up, I kind of just was like, and they were kind of pep talking me like, oh no, it's good, keep going. But I just was like,
But don't show the viewer that you're confused. Just keep reading, just in case, even if you thought it was on tape. Just keep reading. Do not show the viewer the confusion, because you know, you could just have read it. I was going to ask you, were you? I loved how you read the political stuff. Your heart was in it. Of course, you had written the reader. You read it very well, but other scripts, you were totally locked on that prompter, like, you know, for dear life. And you were even doing this, you know, just kind of, was there something? I looked at the prompter and it looked okay.
Yeah.
Everything looked okay, but you were just like doing this. You know, you were obviously showing us you were reading a prompter. But when you were reading the political stuff, you weren't. So try to do what you did with the political stuff.
So for the 2 readers, I really didn't rehearse them as much as everything else because, I mean, like Bailey said, like they were floating. So I was just like, okay. So I like read over them, but I really didn't read over them. So like when we went live, it was like I kind of read this, but not
Why didn't you
really.
really read over them?
Because she told me before the show, she was like, as of now, they're dead. But they may
You
not be.
always
So
read
that was my
everything.
mistake. I should have read
Yeah,
over them.
always.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we have them there, because we never know how the show's going to pan out. So always be overly prepared. Read everything and more. Yeah.
And you did do great, though. I will say you did do great on the Board of Education resignation reader. So I would say it's probably more a matter of the things that you wrote, you did great on.
Yes, and that's
So maybe,
for everyone.
So maybe that's just something you need to keep
So
in
now you're going to
mind.
read, you're going to write all the, no, just kidding.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe just keep in mind, kind of familiarize yourself with those other ones that you didn't write a little bit more.
But please look at your, I mean, you were good, you were solid in control, but it was so obvious that you were reading that prompter. So do what you did with the political stuff, and I don't know how it felt to you, and obviously practicing the scripts was very important. So do the same thing with every single script, even if it's skipped, because we resurrected quite a lot of them. So
the timing on
yeah.
can is weird for whoever produces after me.
Yes.
Now I know what everyone's talking about when they're like, oh, we were like 3 minutes late. What happened? Uh-huh. Yeah. So now I know what everybody's talking about. So just really keep an eye on it. We were able to come back from that. So that was awesome.
Jazz, also in the beginning and at the end, you were looking at the wrong camera. And always stay engaged, especially in the greeting. You always kind of glance over, you know, respect the co-anchors as they introduce themselves. You can look at them, stay engaged. Like Marissa was very engaged when they had a double box with Ashlyn and Q&A. She was like nodding, she was, you know, you could tell she was engaged the whole time. And of course that was on tape, so it's easier to be engaged on tape. But you as an anchor, stay engaged, pay attention, you are the anchor of everything that goes on. So kind of look over during the greeting, look over at also at the end while they're saying goodbye, and then you say goodbye too. But look at yourself, this is your first time, so you're gonna, you know, do much better once you see where you know, you were at your strongest and what you did to be there, because it was good, you're solid, you know, you had moments in which you demonstrated that you're good at anchoring and you were in control, and it will take just a very little adjustment for you to just don't show that you're not in control or you're not certain about something, because you had a producer who communicated very well with you. You were constantly told what was being resurrected. So I think you're in a good position for next week to do even better. And thank you for those readers you did were well written, and so it showed. They were well read. Yeah. So what else would you do you want to say about? I think also being on time. 4:30, everybody was in there.
Yeah.
So we were able to avoid the chaos of Wednesday when, you know, people were not in the studio on time. So it makes a difference when we communicate well with the staff and with each other, when we have our scripts ready on time, for me to copy edit and for you to edit.
I think another thing that really made the difference today was having a content manager that really, really stayed on top of everyone. So huge thanks to Wangashi for keeping up with all of you guys and bugging everybody when I asked her to.
Yes, yes.
That helped a lot, and making sure that live shot went well, staying on top of everything. Yeah, because I think that's something that kind of hindered us last week, is that I wasn't in communication with a content manager. So you did a really great job.
And again, last week we were 4 people less, and we did, you know, you guys really impressed me with everything you did with so few people around. So anything else you want to share?
Yeah. So we were actually down a TV MMJ today, which you wouldn't have known, because you guys really did. You picked up the slack. You did really well, especially our digital ladies that helped us out. Jada, thank you for doing that, and Ashlyn is not here right now, but she did that wonderful Q&A with Marissa, which I thought looked so good. I really liked how they set up that double box. I went in there and worked with Will and them, and I think it looked really good. And you guys were, like Professor V said, you were engaged. It sounded natural. It was really
very
great.
nice, very nice, yeah.
I didn't want to do the double box, but I think watching it back, it did look good. It looked more engaged. I wasn't centered though, and I don't know why, but like,
I think
I
was,
thought it looked good.
I was in there when they started it. I think you may have just like moved.
Because it was a tiny box.
Slightly.
Yeah.
And yeah, because it's so tiny, you could really tell. But that's definitely something we can watch if we do use that kind of setup again.
And I think it added variety to our show. It was a different look.
Right. Which I like, because the same old like red Grady Newsource layout gets a little bit old sometimes.
It's interesting, and I'm glad we kept it in sports. I do think it worked best there,
Good.
so I'm glad that worked out as well.
Yeah. And then Katie, you did your package today, got back, had a mishap with the audio, which stinks, but that's a lesson to double check all those teeny tiny little things. Make sure your sound, white balance, exposure, and all that is good.
I will say that, so we looked at the camera, Jim and I did, and somebody had switched the mic off and like changed some of the inputs, and I wouldn't have known to look for that, and he took a picture of what it should look like, so I will send that out to everyone because I don't want that to happen to anyone else. And I guess I also learned definitely to check the mics, because we didn't know the wireless mic was broken, and it like clicked off in her pocket, so there's a wireless mic in one of the kits that is broken, so just make sure you don't have that one before you go out.
Yeah, and you can also, before you leave the FESR, you can have the volunteer, whoever, like look at it with you, because they know those cameras really well, and say like, is this connected to the mic, or the boom mic or whatever, and then is this connected to the mic or the wireless mics, just so you make sure. But you recovered so well from that. You still had a package for me. That graphic was so good. I loved the like on the phone graphic that you did. So really, really good job recovering from that. I appreciate it. And you still, I think you were only like 20 seconds lighter than like what we initially had you, which is amazing to just have like all your video go away.
Yeah, and having, because audio is more boring for broadcast than visual, than video, and it was good to have that graphic which had the picture of the person and a little bit extra, so it was, yeah, she really recovered very well from that. And Jada, thank you for doing the extra work for us, and Ashlyn is not here, but she also did the extra work for us. And Julia, your package, I was a little distracted. I'm going to watch it again from home, but I did see your stand-up, which was very interesting. Neil just had a point that try not to have light in the back. That would, you know, have made it even better, but it was very creative, and, you know, I like the fact that you were inspired. I'll look at the whole package at home. But he suggested, you know, he liked your stand-up, but he suggested, you know, not to have, the light should always be facing you. Yes. But it was a great idea to do that.
No, I loved that stand-up.
Yeah.
And I know you were working on it a lot this weekend, so that was great, and you were able to get things done early.
Very hard work on that one.
And we looked over everything together. But I will say, have confidence in yourself. I was talking it through with you last night, and you had amazing ideas. So just know that like you got this, because like what you put out today that package was really good, and it was a nice, like, almost kind of soft news, but also we're talking about the economic impact. So it was a nice mix. I really liked it.
And please keep working on it for next week when it's even more timely, right? If you think of I see you're excited about this, so think of how you could continue that story the week of Thanksgiving, when there'll be less sales in Athens, but maybe you do something for the rest of, you know, the bigger community where people will be going, you know, shopping. Find some early sales, maybe see how people are shopping somewhere else, not, you know, in a nearby So that'll be great. If you want, of course, you might find something more interesting for next week, but you can continue that story. You done, darling?
Peyton's not here, but she did really good.
Yeah, she was very nervous, and I told her, print out your lead if you're so nervous, and she did great. Yeah.
She was perfect.
Yeah.
One thing that did happen, though, is her package was a minute over, and I didn't find that out. Like, I'm glad. Again, next producer, click through everything that's, like, already in there. Because I found out, like, 45 minutes before we started, like 15 minutes before I was supposed to be in the control room, that hers was a minute over. So that really, really hurt our timing. So make sure, on the reporter end, make sure you let your producer know, and producers, make sure you check.
Another thing, Bailey, you struggled very much. You were very challenged today because we didn't have a clear lead story. And so she struggled with it and still came up with something live, and we had a strong lead for our show. So anything you want to share about how you struggled and how you managed to come up with something interesting and strong to start your show?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult because, of course, today's a Monday, and any newsroom is going to have a hard time on Monday finding your top
That is very
lead
true.
story. But sitting down, we moved things around a lot. There were a couple different possibilities. We thought maybe it was a sports story, a Board of Education story. And then when Professor V finally said to like kind of look at what our original reporting is, something that's coming up that's going to be impactful to our community, we decided that it was going to be the Jackson County IB program that's going to be impactful to our viewers, and something we could do a live shot with, because lives right at the top of the show are always great. So that definitely helped thinking about like what are our viewers needing to see, and like
then
what
you
can
paired
we
it
do?
with another reader that
Right,
we
and
had,
like,
which was educational. So,
and just kind of thinking about like what content we can put out that other news platforms can't. So that was definitely it, and then being able to follow up with the Board of Education.
yeah, I really liked the show. It was very smooth, and touch wood, everything was great. I'm gonna watch it, enjoy it from home as well. Isaiah, you did very well today too. Digital.
My digital team did great.
And they helped us a lot. I just don't. I have to watch what you guys did all day.
Yeah, I just seen that. So I'm just gonna brag on all you guys. Everybody did so much. So basically today we had 3 Instagram posts. We had an Instagram story, which is like an entertainment segment with Paige and Taylor. And I just watched it. I just uploaded it and uploaded the post as well. So it looks really good. People are already watching and things of that nature. So thank you guys so much, because it looks really good, and it was really innovative, kind of in a sense, that using the Instagram story, and it was all their idea, to like do a whole entertainment segment, and they had graphics and everything like that. It's really fun to watch, and I mean, great job to you guys. It looks really good. We also had 2 stories posted today, which is good. Ashlyn helped a lot with TV. But
Yeah,
also
it
helped
was
a lot
very
with,
interesting and original reporting. And
with our post as well. And Jada, your post just got posted. It looks great. Thank you so much. And she also helped with TV as well. So, Julia, thank you so much. Julia sent us out, and she was actually our first post today. So
oh,
she
really?
Sent us out for
good
her
job.
story today. Katie helped a lot too with you guys' story. I got it on Facebook, and Julia's story got on Twitter as well.
Great. So it's, TV people should also help the digital people. So we should go back
vice
and
versa,
yes, I like
everything
that.
looks great. Thank you guys so much again. Yeah, we had a lot of digital content today, so it's pretty good.
Wonderful. And do you want to say something, Ngeshi, from your point of view? Give us the update of what's going.
Already been said. Y'all did a great job.
Yeah, I'm really happy with today's show. I took some notes, but I think Skylar, the weather was very good. It's good that you did what I asked you to do. You were summarizing. You weren't giving us every temperature. You look very comfortable. It was a nice, short, sweet presentation. But for Wednesday, if you could think of a nice weather story to go along with it, would be nice to do. But presentation was very good. And I told you guys, Marissa and Ashlyn, that I really enjoyed the Q&A and just doing different things. We've got 3 more shows. I'm glad we also got to run a profile piece. We'll have to see what we can do to make sure that everybody's piece gets on air. Maybe some days we could try for 2 shorter ones if we can, but we'll see. Please put all the scripts, the leads and tags in the specials rundown in CAN so that the producer can take a look at everything that's there and make choices.
And I might go ahead and make just like a Google Doc for us really quick for you guys to just put in like the slug. Because I know we have like a lot of names and stuff and
what it's
producers.
About, so yeah. So that
so like for Mocha
That's
Johnson's today, maybe put in like politics profile or something like that, just to make it a little bit more easy. So when you're picking them, you can have something that goes along with the reader before it or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let me see. I'm just very proud of you guys, and you checked your recordings like we've decided. From now on, recordings need to be checked. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything went very well, and
one thing I will say about weather is just make sure when you're doing your like little keynote thing, I know the animations are super, super weird. And you may have noticed like when you're clicking through the 5-day, it like makes no sense, the order in which they go. So you might have to go in and change the order. I had to do that and didn't notice until like the Wednesday. And you're like watching it back and you're like, why does it look like this? And they come up in a random order. So maybe just something to look at for Wednesday, but you were great. You were right, your 1 minute weather was fabulous.
very nice.
Work on, just like you get done and then you're like, that's it, okay, thanks. So I got to figure out a transition better for Wednesday. But it was fun. I think like with weather and sports, you get to show more of your personality.
Yes, that's true. And we saw that. It was very nice. Well, should we look ahead now to Wednesday? I wanted to let you guys know that it's debate day and wanted to explain the 2 people who were selected to go. They were the first one to apply, and because we could only get 2 positions, you know, they thought the fairest thing would be just to get the 2 people who were the first to apply for it. So that's how it had to be. I know some of you are probably disappointed with that, but that's Alex from Dr. Bright's Capstone and Francisco from Tuesday, Thursday team. They are going. I talked to Alex, and he said that possibly once they get the lay of the land, when they get there on Wednesday, they might have a live shot for us looking ahead to the debate. But in case they can't do it, we need to also consider what we can do. And we should do something anyway from here. Just consider what it could be, because it's a big day for Georgia, for, you know, the whole country, and even the world will be watching, because I know CNN International will be broadcasting that. So
an idea could be like looking at all the different watch parties that are going on around the Clark County. Might have already been pitched.
Marissa's been talking about it.
There you go.
Yeah, Marissa is already on top of a lot of things, so I'm going to talk things through with her because she's TV on Wednesday.
I love that.
And she's our resident politics gal. And so she's going to look through that.
But will people be assembled already ahead of time at 5, because the debate starts at 9 p.m.?
So most of the places that I've seen so far on Handy Dandy Facebook events, you can come whenever, but the watch parties don't start till like 7 or 9. So I was thinking that if we do have a live shot from one of those locations, you could be like, well, I'm here, we're later tonight, there'll be more people,
I love it.
Sort of type thing. Just since that way we have something here if we don't get content from there.
And maybe talk to some people who are there. Are you going to be here tonight? The bartender, how exciting is it? Are you looking forward to it? And just kind of give us a, sense of how people feel, the excitement, or just the atmosphere looking ahead, I think that'll be wonderful. So we already have a live shot, we've decided.
And also, I think
Yeah.
UGA is doing its TED Talks Wednesday too. Throwing that out there.
There's what?
The
did
TED
you?
Talks.
Mhm. Yeah, we don't want to overdo it, but we need to have our own live shot from here, Athens, in addition to what's happening in Atlanta. And if we don't get a live shot, then we could also do a preview of. I suggested to Alex that he put together a package before he leaves with a preview, what to expect during the debate, what the main issues will be, the candidates, or something like that. And if he has that package, even if he can't provide us a live shot, we can run the package or something. So we've got options to play with. What else can we do for Wednesday? Anybody has some ideas? Check with your local beats, because that's what makes our shows interesting. And
That definitely helped today, especially on Peyton's part. I know, Katie, we didn't end up getting to do your fire reader and tips.
So you've got your fire department thing, right? You shot that today, or you didn't?
No, we.
Yeah, so I called Bailey when I was at the animal control
Yeah.
because it ended up being another 15 minutes to go to where the fire had been, and then it would have taken me at least an hour to get back.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually really glad I didn't, because I ended up not having audio and had to like fix all of that. So it would have been an extra hour and, like, that I would have been gone.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't. But I have a contact if maybe Tuesday, Thursday wants to do something about like the heat. Because the issue with the fire was because it was caused by a heating lamp, which I know you were talking about this morning. So if someone wanted to do that either tomorrow or like if we wanted to do that on Wednesday, we could talk to the fire departments about that, especially since there was a fire caused by it.
I like that idea.
So.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you going out of your way to try to find out information about that. We didn't end up getting to do it, but just checking in with y'all's beats will help us a lot. And Peyton, did Peyton run out already?
Peyton, you
Oh my
did
gosh.
great. I don't know why you were nervous.
Our Lady of the Hour, you were amazing.
You look beautiful. The shot was great. The performance, everything.
Yeah, so the lighting kept changing like every 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
like Jackson, who went out on the live shot with me, I want to give him a huge shout out because he kept like.
You need to have a mic because people need to hear you.
So Jackson, who went out on the live shot with me, and our one of our volunteers were so good at helping, and they like held up diffusers and they kept putting lights up and taking them down and moving around so we could make sure that the lighting was okay. Yeah, they did a really good job today and helped me out quite a bit. So. Yeah.
And you did a great job, and thank you for making our show, making the top of our show look good and strong and interesting. So
I'm glad I could.
it was a flawless show. This one, I don't think there was, there was just a little bit of confusion with the live tease because Jasmine didn't expect it. Usually it's taped, you're right, but this time it was live, and that was just the only, and there'll always be something, but it was great for a Monday show and for first time producing. So you like producing?
Oh yeah, I like producing. You guys know, I've been waiting all semester to produce.
Yeah, you guys are people of so many talents. I don't know how you're going to pick and choose what you want to be. Yeah. So anybody else has anything you want to share, suggest? Well, I think we're almost out of time. But thank you guys. I'm really proud of you. And thank you. Great, great job. I'm so curious to see what you came up with today.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
Instagram thing. Can I watch it with you?
Just be well.
We learned a lot of lessons that we're going to do differently.
Did y'all just cut yourselves off?
Isaiah said, and that's our show.
And that's our show.
Oh, I thought that.